go, guys. So yeah, I wanted to do some Aussie style here and start with the US dollar. USD. We're gonna look at some larger time frames here, as we are in a very sort of pivot point right now. This on a daily time frame, we can see that we are starting to form some bearish divs. We have one, two, three even. All of these are bearish divs. Market price is going up, but RSI is going down. So we are starting to see some bearish signs on the USD, and we have, as sort of a confluence, we did have a breakdown, and then we ranged, and we are currently breaking out, but we are coming up into a higher time frame resistance here. So you have your 12-hour imbalance, but also your previous sort of rejection zone from back in early 2022. So this is it's a very sort of important point for us right now, as we could basically start coming down from here, maybe even form some sort of head and shoulders basically. And if the USD starts breaking down, that would be bullish for crypto. We usually do see that when the USD breaks down, crypto pumps, and risk on assets pump, gold pumps, so on. If we're to reclaim this level, we are gonna start seeing at some higher values, probably all-time high, maybe even higher. It might not be all-time high. It's probably back level, yeah, further back here, but into these sort of weekly zones, sort of. And that's so we have a very important point here. So I'm gonna keep watching this next week, see if we get that breakdown back into range, and then an initial push towards the downside. Because if we start breaking down here, it's gonna be very bullish for crypto. Very bullish for crypto. So I'm gonna have a look at Bitcoin now. I'm gonna start on the lower time frames here, the 15 minutes. So we can look at our sort of local structure. So we did have a big push towards the downside last week. We started off Tuesday. Well, this was basically our beginning of the week, and we just pushed down, pushed down, pushed down. So with this push down, we have basically been building up liquidity in this entire way. People short here, people short here, people short here, and so on, this entire way down. So you do have a bunch of built up liquidity here. With some higher time frame fibs, your sort of levels to sweep, we can start at looking at around the 0.5 fib, and then you have your level 1, which is around 105k. That's if we do get a breakup. So we're to look at our local structure here. You can see that we did have a nice sweep of the low last week, well, this week, and then we had a very aggressive push down up. So you did not build much liquidity towards here, because there isn't much shop, there is not many entries here along the way. So you all have a small batch of liquidity built up here, and then you have all of this shop towards the downside. So here you see people are short very aggressively along this entire move down. People are shorting here too. That's why we did get this sort of liquidity sweep towards the upside. But so now we have been building up liquidity for the last 48 hours basically. We have been building up liquidity all above these highs back here at sort of 97 to 99k, and we can see that on the 24-hour CoinGlass heat map that we have built up a bunch of liquidity towards the upside here, towards 98.2, all the way from 97.3 to 99 basically. So 97.2, if you look at that, that's just around these highs back here, and then you have all the way up to 99, which are these highs back here. So if we do start reclaiming some levels, you could be looking at this as a potential sort of bull flag. You could be seeing a bull flag here for continuation towards the upside, if you were to look at it from that type of perspective. You did have some sort of push here, maybe a manipulation phase basically, build up some liquidity, make people trap some longs, and then we had a big move towards the downside. So right now we are actually starting to break out. We are reclaiming the 0.5. My important point here is that we have to reclaim the 382 for us to get that initial push towards the upside. First and foremost, sweep these highs, maybe see some consolidation before heading up towards this 99k mark again. 99k is such an important point. That's basically the point of our momentum. So we have a bearish momentum. We are downtrending, lower high, lower highs, so on and so on. Could we possibly be forming a higher low here? We could, very well. If that's the case, and we form a higher low here and we start reclaiming some levels, so we reclaim the 0.5 fib, and we reclaim the 382, and we start sweeping some buy side liquidity, I suspect we get the initial push towards that 98, 99k. Does that mean we are gonna get a push towards 103k? Probably not. This is such a vital point that it's a very heavy resistance right now. So this is where you need like a proper sort of reclaim. You need a push with strength through this, maybe even up to the sort of 50% mark of this sort of local range here, before actually coming back, sort of retesting and then pushing up to that 0.5. If we were to look at some edge waves, I also have that. So this is your bearish scenario. Higher time frame edge waves. This is if we are in a corrective move right now. It's if this is an A and we're looking at an A, B, C corrective move of 1, 2, 3. So we do have 5 waves towards the downside here. You could count 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Now wave 3 is the wave with the most volume, so this maybe in wave 5 is not a high probability. But what would invalidate that we are in a corrective move right now is if we break this 4 high and we tap into the 618, so 100,350. If price comes up here, taps into that, this wave 4 is invalidated and this correction move is done. Then we would completely erase that, and we would be looking for an expansion towards the upside. Likely get some sort of consolidation before you get a push towards the upside. You could still, even if we do tap that 618, you could still get that push towards the downside. Push towards the downside, sweep those lows and go back up, but the corrective move is done. If you don't get that 618 tap and we start pushing down to sweep these lows back here that we did create over Friday, come back here, that would be considered your wave 5. Your sort of weekly or daily levels for this push down is around 89 to 90k. That's where I'm looking for some sort of bounce if we start pushing down. This is your bearish scenario. Even if you get this breakdown, maybe even down to 87.7, these are higher time frame fibs. You do have your 1618 from sort of previous range that we did have back here, from this previous range, from the highs to the lows on the fibs. So that's a very sort of important level for us right now. That's a bearish scenario. So if you do get that push down, you would still look for a initial push towards upside. You could get a bounce here up to all the way up to 104, 105, maybe even sweep these previous highs. Not very likely, but you could get. But since we are still in a corrective move, if you sweep these lows, you would still be looking for a push down lower. So that's always something to watch for. So this would be considered your wave A. I can write it out. This would be your wave A. You'll be looking at the wave B and wave C. This wave B has multiple targets, so it's difficult to trade. It can be a flat, and then we will sweep the high, come back, sweep the low, and then go somewhere up or down. Depends. So yeah, that will be one more difficult way to trade. But we are gonna be in sort of, if we're looking at the Elliott wave theory, if we don't push up to the 618, we are in a corrective move, and we are suspecting lower. Even with a push from 89k to 105k or higher, you are still looking for a move down. So always something to be aware of. That's our bearish case, of course. We could also just come back here and then we have some Trump news and then we just straight up send from there. Always a possibility. We can't predict news. That's the thing. Yeah, so that's your bearish scenario on Bitcoin. Bullish is, of course, if you do get that bull flag surf over the weekend, play out, or even if you just push down here, tap the, I think that's the 618, yeah, the higher time frame 618, and then you get your initial push, tap into the 618, and then a pullback for continuation towards the upside. That's your bullish scenario, but you have to tap the 618. That's what invalidates this entire sort of corrective move down. I'm gonna have a look at some Ethereum here now. Let's see. ETH is also such a vital point right now. We can look at some key levels to reclaim. You have your previous range back up here. That's your previous range. You saw that we bounced, and then we broke through. You have your highs. You made double top. Very common. So that's your previous range to reclaim. You have to reclaim the 0.5 fib for bullish momentum. That would be bullish. You could be looking for an inverse head and shoulders if we do get that. If we don't get that, we are holding your 0.5 fib right now, barely. You're basically just sitting on it right now. I suspect we do get a push down, and then you have your 3k as your first zone, and they are these previous high lows back here of this small range that we had before we created our sort of local high. And if we don't hold this, you have your sort of weekly pivot, your higher time frame fib at around the 2.8k. So this is your higher time frame target if you do break down. If you get a breakdown, this is where you're looking for ETH. Its previous range low, we can see it back here, we bounced off it multiple times. We rejected off it here. So basically it's a very strong support and resistance. So that's for ETH is if we are getting a breakdown. If we don't get a breakdown, again here it's the same case as Bitcoin. You did come up here over the weekend, you got a reaction of 618 or golden pocket. You are forming this potential bull flag. You still need a breakout with strength or volume. Well, both. And then a reclaim of the 618, possibly some sort of consolidation, and then a push towards the upside. This will remain your key level to reclaim for this push to actually be sustainable to push further up. Likely back up to these highs here at 4k. We have multiple highs here on ETH that are looking very sort of nice for us to take out on a higher time frame. So if we do start moving up, it can move quite quick, but for now there is not much strength to it. We have a local bearish structure and we are making lower highs, local lower lows, and the higher time frame structure is also making lower highs, maybe a higher low, a higher high, I mean, maybe depends how you look at it and on which time frame. If we look on this or RSI, you have your we had a small bullish dips back at our Friday low, but currently if we look at it closer in, you do not have, I mean slightly, you made a lower low on price, slightly higher low on your RSI. So there is a small bull dip on the hourly, nothing on the 2 hour, nothing on the 4 hour. I know we are forming bullish CVD on Bitcoin, which means we have a lot of shorters right now on Bitcoin, a lot of shorters. Yeah, so we are in a very sort of important point right now where either we start pushing up and start stopping out all of these shorts, or we will just fall from here, and then we'll not likely see 93k or 89, 87, all the way back to that sort of range low from previous weeks. Let's have a look at Solana. Solana, if we look on the daily time frame, again we have some levels to reclaim. Your first level to reclaim that we did reject over the weekend back here on this daily candle is your 0.5 fib. 0.5 fib is 187. Until then, you have local bearish momentum. You could be looking at this as a sort of a falling wedge, I guess. Could be looking at that. I'm not gonna focus on that too much since we kind of did break down of this sort of structure. If you look at the higher time frames again, let's see. Okay, now. So if you look at the higher time frames, then we do have our golden pocket. Golden pocket from the lows that we made back in August of 2024 at 110 bucks to the highs of 264. Your golden pocket level is right around 169. 169 is your golden pocket level for that range from 2024 lows to 2024 highs. If you were to look at our previous bull market high to our bear market low, we have our 618 fib, right around 163.7. So this is gonna be your weekly level here. I'm gonna look at the daily again here. This is your sort of weekly pivot for Solana. 163 to 169. We could get a daily break below, but you want to see a reclaim of it before a weekly close. You don't want to see a weekly close below this. If you do get down here, you're likely to get just a wick, back up, and then up again. I have some bids set in this zone, as this is what I'm very much looking for Solana to hold. If you look on the weekly level, you have this sort of weekly. That's basically the low, weekly low that made our all-time high before this move up. So this is a very important weekly level for us, and this is something to keep an eye on. I know Aussie was also looking for here. He was looking for all the way potentially down to 150 something. So I'm guessing he was looking at this low, 157. If we do see a wick down, very aggressive move down, and then a quick recovery, and then we can start sort of seeing some type of V-shaped recovery, double bottom, something in that sense. So that's what I'm looking for Solana. If we were to look at the push up from here after getting that 0.5 fib reclaim, your next vital point is 786, 206. Reclaim this, I see us pushing up back into all-time highs. If you don't reclaim this, we could still come back down, fall into this golden pocket, and then get your initial push down. So that's for Solana. USDT dominance, very important point right now. We talked about this, me and Greedy, multiple times here. It's a weekly level. We have been above this level for 1,000 days. So this is not gonna be an easy low to break through. Once you actually do get that breakthrough, you are gonna get a very nice move on Bitcoin and the rest of the market. So that is what we are currently fighting. So if you were to look at this sort of local structure here, you obviously have your lower highs. You did not manage to break this previous low back here. You did close below, but we are seeing some big wicks right now. So there are some selling pressure. There are some money flowing back into crypto and instead of just holding USDT or stables. If we just look at our sort of previous ranges here, use first get our fibs from. Gonna add 3, 2, 2, 3, 6. So these are your first fib levels. 236 at 4.42. You can see we have this zone. We have basically bounced off it multiple times before. So we are currently getting a rejection of it. If you do break through here, you are expecting a bigger pullback on Bitcoin, and then you're likely to see a rejection of the 3.2. That's where we are looking for a pushback. That's where also I would be looking for a lower high, lower high, lower high, lower high. That's what we're looking for. Then the question is, if we come back down here, do we manage to break below, or do we start consolidating here again and start pushing up again? That's your sort of vital point for USDT dominance. Do we just reject here and crypto starts pumping and we start breaking through next week? Also a possibility. We have been known to do some rallies into Christmas, or after Christmas even. January has generally been a pretty good month for Ethereum. So a good month for Ethereum means good month for alts. So we hope for that. Bitcoin dominance. Again, we talked about this last week. You have an very aggressive trend line. You bounced off it multiple times. You had a breakdown from this sort of big accumulation range towards upside. Big breakdown, but we are coming back up. We retested it on the daily time frame. You retested it here also, and now you came back down a bit over the weekend and came right back up into the 618, where you saw your initial rejection. Now the question is, are you forming a bull flag here? Are you gonna push up again, or are you gonna start breaking down? Your sort of vital point here for Bitcoin dominance is your 0.5 fib. A break below the 0.5 fib and the trend line would give us an impulse towards the downside, and alts, including Ethereum, would see a move towards the upside likely. So that's one of the scenarios I'm looking at. Ethereum against Bitcoin, there is absolutely no strength here. I don't see this weekly close inside of this balance. I don't really see that. But if you look at our local structure, you can see that these are our 3-day lows. So those are 3-day lows. So if we hold above this and we maybe start forming some sideways movement here, you could be looking at this as a higher low on Ethereum against Bitcoin. Your very important point here for BTC, well, ETH BTC, is gonna be 0.04. That's the level we have not managed to break through now for the last 87 days. Well, 80 days basically, and we like a higher high for ETH BTC would mean a lot if we look at this sort of big downtrend that we do have. I'm gonna start going through some alts. If you have any requests, guys, send them in chat and I will look at them. Some of the recent buys some of my recent buys. We have Near. I know Greedy likes Near. Near is the only AI coin with an actual Nvidia partnership. You had a downtrend, very clear downtrend. You had your double bottom, your initial push up, and you're looking for us to come back at retest as a bullish retest. Consider this a bullish retest. Yes, we could come lower. You could look at it from multiple different sort of perspectives, trend lines, so on and so on. We can look back here. You can see that this was our previous high. We bounced off it back here, low. We bounced off it multiple times here. We rejected it here. So this is a very sort of big zone for Near. You would not like to see this break below 4.2. Well, $4 I would say. You could still see some reaccumulation here, maybe some type of falling wedge. before you actually get a push towards the upside. 6.5 is what I'm looking for as a reclaim level. That's your first level of importance towards the upside. I reclaim at this level with volume would mean a push for me back into 2024 highs, up at $9. Then we also have all-time highs at $20. So your risk to reward here is really good. Just back to our yearly highs is gonna be around a 2x, well, 80% move, and back into all-time highs you are looking at a 4x. So a 4x would be very nice. PIF, another one of my bags, I had been holding for a long time. We do see our sword here. You can see it we bounced off it multiple times. Rejection, rejection, bounced, bounced. So I am looking for some type of sort of inverse head and shoulders to form here. We have to reclaim this level at 0.39 for us to start building up some bullish momentum. I am looking at this as a cup and handle on a larger scale, and I am targeting higher on this. So initial target would be that element looking for this low, would be that previous high that made basically our sort of 2024 low, and that would be around a 2x, and a push back into its previous highs will be a 3x, and a push back into its fibs, and the fib target and price discovery would be around 5x. So I really like PIF here. I think it's a good level to accumulate. You're looking again as a bullish retest, and you are looking for continuation towards the upside. We have some reclaiming to do, but most of the coins do right now. Say is another one I'm accumulating here. I bought in during the Friday drop, and I am ready to DCA this entire box. So between 0.4 and 0.33 is where I want to DCA say. Again, I think just getting back to the yearly highs, you are looking at around the 3x from here, which is like insane. Back into the highs, you're looking around the 80%, so almost a 2x. So say I think say is lacking. I usually see it on X quite a bit, so there are some guys posting say, so I really like it. You could be looking for the same thing here that we did get previously. You had a breakout, and then you have your, it's basically a manipulation moves, and then you get back into range. Could get that push downside as well. You get a push down, sort of double bottom, and then you get the reclaim, and then push towards upside. That's a possibility I am willing to look for. If I have to look at fetch, I was gonna have a look at Solana first here. Solana BTC. So this is a 3-day harmonic. So I am still looking slightly lower for Solana against Bitcoin. We had a previous demand zone back here, but it's pretty clear we lost it. So we erase that. And our next zone is around 0.00177. This is a very important point for me. This is basically what we broke out of to actually make this sort of top range. You can look at it back here. We bounced it multiple times. We rejected, bounced off it. So this very important zone for Solana against Bitcoin. This is a 3-day bullish harmonic. You are expecting a nice bounce after this. So I'm looking for this as a local bottom. You can look on the weekly on this sort of downtrending trend line, and that's what you want to break. Break above that, you're gonna see that impulse towards all-time highs. So gonna move quick. Solana moves quick, so that's how it is. We can look at our previous highs back here. That's first zone of resistance. If we do get that breakdown. And if we break through that, you're looking at all-time highs on Solana against Bitcoin. But yeah, slightly lower still. I want to get slightly lower. I'm a bit greedy here, but if I look at some local ranges or fibs here, you can see that that's the 786. We want the 786. Give me the 786 there. Okay, well, I'm gonna move on to my red list. Fetch. I have been buying fetch too. Though I DCA'd most of it back here, I have added a small bag. I am looking for a continuation. You have sort of multiple trend lines. Your reclaim level is gonna be this previous high back here at 1.4. So 1.4 is your reclaim level for a push towards that rising wedge top around $2. I think fetch makes new all-time highs. You see, I have my target 1 at those previous highs back in 2024, and that would be a 3x from around our price. You have a bigger demand zone all the way between 1.1 and 0.99 that you would like to see hold. Preferably hold this 886 fib if we do get a breakdown here or some sort of consolidation before I break up to the upside. I'm bullish on fetch. I am holding my bag. I don't think there's anything to worry about here just yet, at least. Thera. Wow, I have a very old chart here. Ooh, ABC. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. A, B, C. Oh yeah, so this pullback was kind of expected. Well, I'm gonna remove that because I don't look at it. We can clearly see it's broken out of its downtrend on the daily time frame. It does look quite a bit like Solana. You have your initial push towards upside. You did not sweep the high that Solana did. You almost did. You're looking at some sort of falling wedge or some type of reaccumulation. What could happen here is that we could of course get that initial break towards upside and start pushing back to previous highs. If you can use some fibs here, higher time frame fibs. Highs to lows, yeah, you have your 618. This is a zone that I would be looking for. That's your sort of was your local range lows, range highs, and we broke below it. You did bounce here on the 382. If you do get a breakdown, you are looking at first and foremost a retest of the 382. Break below that, you're looking likely for a retest of the 236. Retest of the 236 is not really bearish either, since you are looking at as just a bullish retest. You have your range here. You got your breakouts. You're looking at a bullish retest, accumulation, and then continuation. Very similar to what AVAX looks right now. You could be looking at a sort of a higher time from inverse head and shoulders. I really like the looks of it. I'm not sure how much this moved up, but yeah, 202%. I don't know much about the token in general. I mean, this is not too far. Like you have the similar structure. You have your break here. You come back to the highs. You made accumulation, and then you have your push up. Now you just have it on the smaller scale. You have your push down. You have your reaccumulation, and then you're looking for that push up. It's basically the same structure, just on a lower time frame. All-time highs is at $15. I don't know if that's possible still, but technical wise, these highs I think get swept minimum of these highs get swept. Even if you get a bit pullback here, maybe a 20% pullback, I still think these highs at 4.5 get swept. So that will be my initial target for Theta, for a impulsive move towards upside. If we look at some Elliott waves, you could be looking at this as a 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. And this wave 5 can be an expansion move, so it can push even higher. But that's what I would be looking for here. As long as your 4 doesn't break into the 1, it's gonna be a valid Elliott wave. So there's that on Theta. Sui. I have social recovery. Sui, I said it multiple times, I'm gonna say it again. I don't think Sui is worth buying on spot. As I think you're basically looking at the maximum 2-3x. Like extreme bull case, you're getting to 15 bucks. That's a 3x. What I think could happen is that it goes to 10 bucks and you get a 2x, sort of a maximum target. It's still quite overextended. I would be interested if so it comes back to 3 bucks, because I think you could swing this back into the highs at 5 bucks or even higher. Local structure says, well, it doesn't say a lot. Like you have these massive wicks, like this daily candle or the 6-hour candle is 28%. You could come back, see a part of it get filled. You could be looking at this as a head and shoulder, inverse head and shoulders. Don't have too much to say about this. Your 6-hour, your bearish stays here. Your bearish stays on daily. 3-day also bearish stays. Weekly, no bearish stays on weekly yet. Not yet, at least. For 6-hour, like it got quite reset, but it will just back into that sort of mid range again. I'm fine trading Sui, but I'm not gonna buy spot at these levels. But yeah, you're like most of all look the same. You're looking at the same scenarios you're looking on Bitcoin, where you either break out of this sort of downtrending channel that we're locally in, potential bull flag. You have your sort of fibs around these targets also. Not something I would be interested in touching right now. You are in a mid range for Sui also. Your sort of local top for that sort of rising wedge is around 5 bucks, and your local bottom is around 4. You will look for this to push back and then you can long, or you would look for this to push up and then you can short. Pendle. Might have to release. Okay. I remember this is an old, very old coin. 123. Okay. I think I traded this back in the day. I don't mind this local structure at all. You had your sort of V-shaped recovery back here. You made a double top. Very V-shaped recovery here. Gonna look at the daily. Highs to the lows. Yes, you are a bit in the mid range right now. I don't have the 0.5, that's maybe why. Yeah, so you did bounce off the 0.5 fib. Massive wicks here on Pendle. Your eclipse zone, again, golden pocket. You can see that it's previous range highs here. And that's for your reclaim to get actually into sort of some sort of bullish momentum, as you're seeing lower highs, lower high. You're low, you made a higher low, and now you make a lower low. So we are still downtrending, sort of on the lower time frames, even if we are on the higher time frame, very uptrending. What could have played out here is that we could have seen this sort of an inverse head and shoulders. You're looking at this as your neckline. Yeah, so this is very important point here. 4.68. Break below this, you could see a larger pullback, maybe a 20% pullback into this 382, these previous range lows. Reclaim level is at 5.5 bucks. 12-hour. Let's look at 4-hour. Yes, you are bouncing off that 0.5 right now, yeah. So you're bouncing between that 0.5 and 0.32 right now. think if you do get a good reclaim in 382, you should get that push up towards these higher time frame fibs. 0.618, 0.65 back into maybe these highs or just a lower high here, and then get a push towards the downside. That's what I would be looking for on PanVal. AR3. Are these some real 2020 bull run tokens? They sound like it. Yeah, it is. Really 2021. Oof. 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 Well, this is your bear market range. I'm gonna use some fibs from the lowest to the highest here to see how we get through here. Yeah, again, mid-range. You have these small lows back here that made high. Not too much to it here. You are bouncing basically off thin air. You are likely not going to hold this, and you will come back down to the 786. Could we see a sweep of these lows, reclaim, go back up? First thing I would be looking for, first scenario, use some even more local fibs. Yes, that's basically your zone. That's your initial demand zone. And you will be targeting the fibs. You want a reclaim of the 618, and to continue this bullish momentum again, you want to reclaim the 382. 382 is usually such an important fib for momentum. That's usually where you see exhaustion after a push towards 618.5 and then 382. That's where you either see a larger pullback, or you get a reclaim and you get a big push towards upside. I would not be interested in this right now. I would be looking for some type of reclaim here of the 618 at least, minimum, for a bullish push towards upside. You did have your sort of local liquidity sweep here too, so you have a nice sweep of the highs here. This looks to be one of the weaker coins compared to most. 118 highs. That's crazy. I would mark a 91. You could be looking at this as a large impulse towards upside. But yeah, just be aware of these range highs back here. I would even look at these. If you do get that initial push down and start sweeping these lows, this is your zone you want to see hold. That's between $10 and $12. That's your zone. I do say that if we make a higher low right now, I do see this potential play out. So you have to break out, maybe get that retest, and then you get an impulse towards upside here. Your risk to reward is pretty good. It's a 3x back to the highs, and it's a 5x back to all-time highs. That's decent. That's it. Decent. It's decent. Need reclaims. That's it. A few some volume here. Yeah. Point of control. You are below your value low. Your point of control is going to be at 19.6 bucks. You can see how we bounced up multiple times before. Yeah, reclaim this zone with strength, and I'm interested. I did go through AVAX, but I can look at the chart again. Well, maybe I didn't. Wrong AVAX chart. See here. Yeah, so this is what I'm looking for AVAX. I am looking on a very large head and shoulders, inverse head and shoulders. I'm bullish on AVAX. I am ready to detail all the way between these higher time fibs 382 and 236. You're between 35 and 28 bucks. You could be looking at this as a previous trendline retest. You had your rising wedge here, or rising channel. You look at your breakout, you're looking at the retest. It's pretty obvious that we are in an uptrend, as you are making higher lows. Even if you're looking at these highs, you're making a higher low. Weekly uptrend. We are starting to see some interest in the Solana versus AVAX 2. So that's added as a confluence. Your sort of risk to reward here is very good. Just back to those previous highs is 80%, and back to previous all-time highs, which I think we break, is around a 4x, and that's back to 150 bucks. And you would start by looking at 105. I think we can reach 120 pretty easily, a 3x from here on AVAX. But just gotta be ready to DCA. We could basically just move sideways here for another sort of 30 days. Just like how we did back here. With that we moved sideways for 50 days, 60 days even. But I'm very bullish on AVAX. It's been doing good too. It's up around 250% from the lows of 2024. You are bouncing off your larger, higher time frame fib, and your reclaim level is your 0.5, which we did reject over the weekend at 41.39. DOT is a 2021 coin. Only reason someone will buy DOT is because they don't know any other coins. Yeah, so I do have some edge waves on AVAX here. Not AVAX, I mean DOT. So I am still looking for a push up. It probably gets it with everything else. You're looking at your reclaim these previous lows. You have your big corrective move towards the downside. You moved up 220% in like a few days, and you got a larger pullback. You're down almost 50% from the highs. So I hope you didn't FOMO. Higher time frame fibs, previous highs to lows, 55 bucks. I will be looking to start scaling out. If you hold this, I will be looking to scale out into these 382 and 286. 18 bucks, 23 bucks. That's still quite a move from here. Let's say 2 to 3x from here. I would of course leave some for some higher targets, but just as a sort of local structure wise, and some good profit targets overall. You have your 1618 fib extension tool 2 around at 19, and then your target 2 at that 22.3. So that's gonna be your first heavy zone when it comes to a DOT. That's your heavy supply zone. We can look at it back here. You can see that that's the exact same zone that made our bear market lows. So I'm still looking for initial push towards the upside here, but might not happen now. Might see some reaccumulation, some manipulation maybe even, and then push towards the upside. Everything is really dependent on what Bitcoin does right now. Because of Bitcoin dominance. Because if Bitcoin dominance doesn't break down, alts won't move. So there's that. Injective, I think I have it somewhere here. Also, one of the bad, well, it's not a bad performer, but it's been one of the worst ones. It's kind of being, well, I don't know, slept on, but it's kind of getting lost in the dust, so to say. Your demand zone is that 19 to 18 bucks. Fibs, highs to lows, well, lows to highs. You are below your golden pocket. You're looking for reclaim. No strength in it right now. You have very aggressive motors downside. That's a 30% pullback, and you are down. You dropped almost 50% here too. Yeah, so I want to see some sort of sideways movement here. I want to buy a coin that's just knife catching. I won't buy that. Also, since the coin has not shown any strength so far we have a 150% move up compared to what most coins did, like 215 and 250 and so on, with a pullback to basically 50% of that. Surely is one to keep an eye on, but one of the weaker coins. We want to bet on strength. That's been the way this cycle, that we bet on strength. And it usually is the best way to trade too. But I think I am pretty on there. It's been almost an hour. I have this recorded, so I will post it, guys. We can have a last look at Bitcoin, see what it's doing. 50 minutes. Yes, you did get your weekly of the 0.5. You have good your retest here too. Let's start removing some stuff. Next level, 3.2. That's what we need to reclaim, really. A reclaim of that would give me confluence for us to start pushing 97 for all the way up to 99k. Now if this is just a liquidity sweep here and we start bringing down again, that's a possibility that we have to be aware of. Well, thanks you guys for listening.